Hi, this is Amy at the Virtual Planetarium at Raritan Valley Community College. Let's take a look at some of the things we can see in the sky for the week of September 20th. Let's start with the upcoming moon phases. There's going to be a first quarter moon on September 23rd, a full moon on October 1st, and a last quarter moon on October 9th. The October 1st full moon will be the harvest moon because it is the full moon closest to the autumnal equinox. The autumnal equinox is on September 22nd at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's when the sun will be exactly over the Earth's equator. It'll be on the equinox. Days and nights will be approximately equal in length. Our daylight hours have been decreasing since the summer solstice, but now we cross that 12 hours of each threshold, so our nighttime hours will be slightly more than our daylight hours each day. The word equinox comes from the Latin words meaning equal night. Some folks say you can stand an egg on its end on the equinox, and you can. But you can do it today, too, and tomorrow, and next week, and 2 months ago. I took these pictures last week. Give it a try. On both the spring and autumn equinoxes, the sun rises due east, moves across the sky in about 12 hours, and it sets due west. You can use these days to find landmarks by your home to see exactly where due east and due west are. Watch the sun rise or set and note where you're standing and what buildings, trees, or power poles are near the sun. Then you'll know in the future where east and west are by you. So the sun is setting just before 7 p.m. this week. Since the moon was new on September 17th, we'll see the waxing phases of the moon in the sky each evening this week. Waxing means getting larger. Notice how night after night, the moon increases in size and moves farther from the sun in our sky. Each night it sets about 50 minutes later than the day before. This also means it rises 50 minutes later than the previous day. On September 24th, we'll see a waxing gibbous moon near Jupiter. And the following day, the following night, the moon will be by Saturn. Mars is over in the eastern sky in the evening. It's rising around 8 p.m. If you're outside observing the sky around midnight, we'll see the bright star Aldebaran at the top of a V shape of stars. This marks the face of Taurus the bull. And a little cluster of stars here is the Pleiades, or the Seven Sisters. We also call it M45 for being the 45th object on a list created by Charles Messier. It also is referred to as the Seven Sisters, even though we can only see 6 stars with our unaided eyes. One story behind that name comes from the ancient Greeks. They say the god Atlas, you know him, the guy who holds up the earth on his shoulders? Well, he had 7 daughters. 6 of them did what he wanted them to. They married gods. But one, Merope, fell in love with a human, so she had to leave Mount Olympus to live with her mortal husband on Earth. And that's why we can only see 6 of the 7 sisters. But in reality, there are many more than 6 or 7 stars in this cluster. A pair of binoculars will show you about 24 stars, and the largest telescopes we have have counted about 250 stars in this cluster. These hot, young stars shine with a blue light, and that blue tells us that they're very hot. Blue stars have a surface temperature around 20,000 degrees. The Pleiades are approximately 440 light years away from us. All right, let's stay up late or get up early. We'll move time forward to just before sunrise, around 5 a.m., and we'll look over in the eastern sky. Rising in the east is the planet Venus. A team of scientists released this week that they have found phosphine gas in the clouds around Venus. On Earth, phosphine is produced by human activity and microbes like bacteria. So far, scientists can't explain the amount of phosphine gas they see based on what we know of Venus. We need to think outside the box to determine its origin. It may be produced by some unknown chemical or geological activity on Venus, or by some sort of life, like microorganisms. On Earth, phosphine is toxic to humans. It's not a common thing in our homes. It's produced by microorganisms that don't need oxygen, so they live in extreme locations. The phosphine that has been detected is coming from cloud layers at an altitude about 30 miles above the surface of Venus. The surface of Venus is not hospitable at all. It's about 900 degrees Fahrenheit with an atmospheric pressure 90 times that of Earth's. The surface is very hostile. The clouds are better, if even marginally so. Temperatures and pressures are a little nicer there. It's important to say that we don't know that this is life, but if it is unlike anything that we've seen before or know of. If it's there, it would be something tiny, microorganisms or mold or bacteria. Well, that's our sky for this week. Thanks very much for joining us in our virtual planetarium. Please subscribe to our channel and like our video, and we'll see you next time. Until then, keep looking up.